So, Paul, thanks very much for joining us. This is the first time you and I have spoken since sort of season end.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting time for the club. Obviously,
Brilliant.
where we are now,
Yeah.
I mean, this must
Yeah.
make you so proud to think you're going to be able to use this facility soon.
Yeah, it's fantastic, Chris. I mean, I'm looking around now. Obviously, I was seeing it being built, and it's our own facility, isn't it? You know, we've got all the academy set up. We've got the ladies teams already in there. It's ready made for us to move on up, and start really seriously thinking where we want to be as a football club.
Well, I think that's been clear. That's always been the ambition, and
Yeah.
it's sort of coming to fruition now.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons we're here today is because there's other things to talk about in terms of players that have signed. We'll be
Yeah.
releasing a little bit about
Yeah.
those before too long, so people will
Yeah.
see that. But why don't you tell us about some of those changes, some of the people you're bringing into the club, and what you see that direction being?
Okay, so obviously, one of the biggest factors for us last season was scoring goals. It's like any team, really. If you've got a goal scorer, you've got half a chance of doing really well. So, I've looked towards how we can rebuild the team, but with trying to keep the core element that we've currently got, because there wasn't a great deal wrong with the lads that we had. We just needed to fill the pot with lads who had a bit more experience, a little bit more know-how. A bit of youth in them, but lads who could go out there and hurt teams. We've looked around. We've managed to be able to go and secure those lads, and we've got a couple that we can release already. And over the next sort of week to 2 weeks, we're going to have another few more that are going to be coming in and signing on the dotted line. They're already done deals. It's just a case of getting them here so we can get them presented and show them our fantastic facilities.
Just to be clear, that low-flying aircraft that came over, wasn't dropping any of them off them, was
No.
it? That was... But,
No.
I mean, we can talk about these guys that have got coming
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
As you say, they've done deals, and we've spoken already to them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what can you tell us about the guys that we've been speaking to earlier? So that's Ryan and...
Johnny,
thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Right,
Well, both lads were at Rammy towards the end of last season. Obviously, as soon as we played Ramsbottom the last game, Ryan was a target for us straight away. He's got a depth of experience with regards to his playing career so far, being a pro at Wigan. He's played at Stockport County, AFC Fylde, so there's a number of clubs, and I'm sure everyone will get to know that when you release the press. So Ryan's got a very technical, very technically gifted player, and he will open up a lot of doors for us, which is someone that we've not had, or from what I've seen in the games that I've seen so far, and the last 3 games that we had, we've not had someone up there who can grab the ball and hurt a team. Ryan is going to give us that opportunity. So an exciting
I've obviously
sign.
seen the big man as well, because I saw him stood next to you, and that was
Yeah.
quite comical,
Johnny
frankly.
Nixon, it's a bit frightening, that, isn't it? 6'2", 6'3". He's a youngish guy who's full of energy. He looks the part. He's played for Chester. He's done a scholarship in the States. Someone who we've wanted, a big lad who's physically fit, and can do a lot of damage up there with his work rate and bring other people into play. So it's going to be very exciting to see what Johnny can do and what Ryan can do together, possibly. And we've recruited well so far, and that's the beginning with those two.
And I think the good thing, I'm sure fans would say that watching this, is that you've got the time now to work with them. It's the best time, isn't it, to bring players in now, because you've got a full pre-season. You've got all those challenges, I'm sure, integrating amongst the current squad. Because it's not as if we're demolishing the squad. It's adding and improving, isn't it? That's what it's about.
Yeah, when you look at the last 3 games, we were fighting for our lives, and we beat Leek away, which was against all odds. And we were back.
Go Phil Collins there for a minute.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to break into song. It was a tough ask, but we went there and we did the job. How we did the job, it was backs to the wall for a good, portion of that game, but at the same time we did offer a threat. But the threat that we offered wasn't of a balanced, consistent, keeping the ball in the final third area to give teams problems. It was more of a push the ball up there and hope that we were going to get something from a long ball or an opportunity that may have been developed from a mistake from their defensive department. So we really needed to look at where we needed to strengthen, and we didn't concede any goals apart from obviously Ramsbottom, but again I changed the team to give the opportunity for guys who hadn't played in those last two games, being that we were safe. So we needed to look at, hey, if we can develop ourselves further forward on the pitch and keep the ball up there for longer periods of time, we know our defence and our keeper situation obviously is changing slightly, but we know our defence and our midfield area is strong. It's the area up top that we need to really take care of, and that's what we've gone and done. And we have agreed terms and signed, the right personnel.
I'm just looking ahead to that new league season, because people like me are always sort of like going through stuff and looking through tables and new clubs and all the rest of it. And there's quite a bit of change in our league. You've got some clubs coming into the division who...
Big clubs, yeah.
Well, I mean, I looked down there at Hensford.
Yeah.
And I remember being there when they were playing in the second round of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So these are big clubs. Vauxhall Motors, people know on the non-league scene.
Tough
Chase
team.
Town have been to the FA Cup first
just
round, I think.
Playoffs.
So these are clubs that it's important to be doing this strengthening, because we are going to face some tough opposition. There's no Macclesfield, no big clear favourite, but there's plenty of tough teams.
Well,
there.
if you look at all the teams are pretty close together. There's a pot of sort of derbies, if you like, in that we've got Nantwich in our
box. Nantwich, of course.
They've come down, so they're if you're looking at anyone, you'd suspect that they're going to be up there. Stalybridge Celtic, they've come down. And then you've got the likes of Leek who missed out. Runcorn Linnets missed out. You've got Chase Town who just slightly missed out on the playoffs. Hensford, as you've mentioned already, a big club. So this isn't going to be an easy division this season. And with what I've seen with teams that are strengthening already, Bootle have named, I think, something like 5 or 6 players that they've signed yesterday or over the course of the week, and they're good quality, strong players, and they've got players coming back into the club that had left previously. So again, Bootle are going to be a strong side. Prescott Cables will be a strong side, and that's not to take into lightly the teams that were struggling last year, in the likes of ourselves, Widnes. I know Ello very well, and he's going to be strengthening in the right areas at Widnes. So you've got to look at it and say, well, who's going to struggle? Who's going to the teams that are going to struggle? And let's just hope that we get ourselves right, because we can only take care of ourselves and worry about those when we have to then meet them and play them.
I bet most importantly, though, there's no trip to bloody Cumbria to place work.
There's no Workington trip. No Workington trip. That is a blessing. That is a blessing. When you look at all the teams in our division now, though, we've got all those derby games that we've got in Kidsgrove, Leek, and Chase Town, Hensford, Nantwich, all those in our catchment area, and then you go 1874, Widnes, Bootle, City of Liverpool, Trafford, Mossley. It's a very tight. I think the longest trip for us is Clitheroe. So it's going to be an interesting division and an exciting one as well. And we have got our target, so we know what we want to achieve. And if we achieve that, we'll be in a very good position.
And what is that target?
Well, we want to get ourselves a target of anything between 18 and 22 wins in the season. And if you look on the history books of the league, you'll see that that's not far off being in that top 10 to top 4 of the league. So if we can achieve that and get to that stage, sort of the turn of Christmas, we'll be looking healthy. And I think with what we've, the types of players we've attracted and we've retained, I don't think there's any reason, because those lads are good enough. And the way we want to play and the way that we're going to adopt our style, should mean that we should be able to collect those wins.
Right. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking again soon, but
hopefully.
Yeah. After you've not met the target next season.
No, it's exciting times, Chris. And you know, we've got to set targets, because if we don't set targets, then what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
You know, it would be fantastic for me to stand here and say we're going to win the league. We want to win the league. You know, that's what we're going to achieve. But you know, we're not going to say that we're not going to win the league. You set off in a hope that you're going to do fantastically well in the division, and our plan at this football club, with everything that we're now developed here, is to take ourselves out of this division into the next division over a period of time. And if we get ourselves in a strong position this season,
we'll fight for it.
We'll fight for it. And if we're mid-table this season, we know what we've got to do for next year to improve again. But you've got to start somewhere, and this is our starting point.
Great.
Chris,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Enjoyed that today.
Cheers.